So we're the raise of the month here. And I think I'm here because in the last 12 months we raised 52 million US. I think that's why they brought us here. So, okay, so a few things here. So first of all, if you're the founder of a company or you're the CEO, here's my cheat sheet of what you're supposed to be doing. And number one thing is never run out of money. So if you're running your company, make sure that you are involved in doing your raise and you're not outsourcing that to some other person. This is your number one job, so take it seriously. And I've got some bad news for you. It's hard work, okay? Anyone who says that raising money is easy is not really telling you the truth. It's hard, and it's always hard, and it never gets easier. When we were small, say around $1 million of revenue, things were going pretty well, and we had like a really small seed rounds, and we were cash flow positive, and life seemed really great. We thought, yeah, maybe we do a lifestyle company here, and we can move to Costa Rica, work a couple hours in the morning, and go, sailing and sunning, and we took a vote of all of the senior people and the founders, and we said, do you want to have a lifestyle company, or do you want to go for it? And it was unanimous. We said, we're going for it. We're going to be a $1 billion company. And that is a really pivotal moment for a company because it's the point of no return. Once you go down the raising big money path, you can never go backwards, okay? It's just on and on and on. So people say, well, so have you stopped raising now? Have you had enough? Like, I think we've raised, 60 or 75 or I don't know how many millions of dollars. I'm always raising. We're always raising. It never ends because to get to $1 billion takes a lot of work and takes a lot of capital. So just be sure that when you make that choice to go down venture, that you're in for the long haul. So this is the journey going down, not the startup, because we heard about raising money for early stage, but this kind of later stage. So number one, these are sort of my tips along the way, or what we did. First thing you have to do, which is really hard, you got to build a great business, right? And that is no small feat. I mean, you raised money on vapor. It was like, that's pretty amazing. But we didn't. We raised money on building a really great business. And it was a business that had the opportunity to get to $1 billion of enterprise value. That's sort of your magic threshold where folks start to get interested in putting a lot of money to work. The second thing that we did is we made ourselves discoverable because as we heard, there's a lot of analysts and things working for the VCs. They need to find you, and if they can't find you, you will not be getting any money. We did posted ourselves on Crunchbase, kept that updated. We're on PitchBook. We're on all the places. We made it really easy for people to find us, right? So make yourself discoverable. And part of that was quarterly we reported on our progress. And the things that kind of tweaked the algorithm of the VCs was, number one, growth of people. That's a really big thing. They watch to see if your headcount's growing. Second thing is revenue growth. We didn't disclose our revenue numbers per se, but we did tell people or tell the world that we were growing at these crazy and incredible paces on our revenue. And also you want to let people know where you're at in the raise cycle. So if you've raised money and so on. Always keep your house in order. Like, we always were ready to raise at a moment's notice. Our investor deck and financial models were always ready. That deck was a living document. We knew exactly where we were. We wanted to make sure we were aligned with our current investors so that we weren't offside with wanting to raise. And we built really long-term relationship with prospective funders. In fact, that was a full-on sport for me. I had personal relationships with over 100 VCs. And we wanted to know what's going on in the market. Is there money available? Is there exits? What's the foreign exchange rate like? That was really crucial for raising big money. And then we signaled the market when we were ready. Start at least 6 months before you need the money. We always started raising when we didn't need any money. That's always when banks and investors like to give you money, is when you don't need it. But give yourself at least 6 months because it gives you 2 kicks at the can. A raise cycle is about 3 months. So 6 months gives you 2 shots, one for failing, the other for succeeding. So who do you choose? So we've heard this a little bit earlier today. We look for investors who can help build the business we want to turn into, not the one that we are. We know how to do that because we're already there. But we look for talented investors who help us become bigger and move forward with our overall plan. We want to make sure that we align with their check size, right? Because if their check size is 2 million and you're trying to raise 500 grand, it's like that's not going to work. So, and certainly when you're in the 20 million or 40 million like we just did, you've got to be able to align with their check size. The other thing is to make sure that they align with the values and the vision of your company. We are a B Corp, and that's where CSR and things like that are really important to us. And we actually had our investors sign up in the term sheet to maintain our B Corp certification. So that was really important to have an alignment of values. And then we also wanted to make sure that when we took on big money, we didn't introduce a board that was going to totally do weird and unnatural things for us. And so we're very careful to make sure we have a really balanced governance structure inside the organization. So we run funding like a sales process. It's simple. We build a pipeline of demand based on expected close rate. So if you think you're going to close 25%, you need 4 times the pipeline to close your deal. We're not so fussed about getting the highest price. We're more concerned about the best alignment. And we want to make sure that we have secondaries. So this is opportunities for people to take money off the table along the way, because Uber just did a raise. They call that Freedom Day, I think, because people finally got to take money off the table. Well, we provide exits the entire journey, and we all stay united as a team, because it's really hard and you can get divided and conquered if you kind of don't have everyone on your internal team and your founders aligned. Be careful. Money comes with strings attached. There is no angel money. There's no free money. There's no, unconditional money. Everything comes with a price, and you will pay that price. So know that you are signing up for something more than just building a company. You might have weird governance, or you might be asked to do things that maybe are unpleasant or different than what you think you want to do. So you need to be very careful to manage that. Okay, so what are we going to do with all that money? Well, like everyone here, and I think this must be a recruitment event, actually, because everyone seems to be hiring or looking for jobs. So we currently have 40 open jobs in Toronto. We were also ranked one of the top workplaces in Canada, I think 3 times. So maybe there's a correlation of having a CSR program in your company and being best places to work. I'm not sure, but there must be something connected. There is something connected. Thanks, Jen. So that's what we're doing. We're hiring. And, I was very cautious about coming up here today because, probably my VC investors are going to be looking at this video on YouTube. So if you want the dirty secrets, you'll have to go to the podcast that we did. So check out the hashtag online for the podcast. Anyway, thank you.
Hi, thank you for that presentation. One quick question. What criteria did you use to ensure balanced governance?
Yeah, balanced governance. So we wanted to have independent board members, as well as obviously the investors are not independent. So we sought to have shareholders that were from different walks of life, who came with different skills and were independent into the mix. We don't have a huge board, but we do try to keep it balanced and representative of a wider group of stakeholders than the founders and the investors.
Hi. Yep. I got a question in regards to raising money. You mentioned that it's not good to outsource it to do so, but I've read several pieces of literature that specifically stated that it's actually, and you mentioned this yourself, a lot of work. So how did you balance raising money while being able to focus on your company? Because I found it, from what I've read again, that it's raising money almost slows down your growth if you're not immediately involved in the growth of your company, because you need to be involved in the raising money.
Right, so the number 2 thing on my list of what you should be doing as a CEO or you're the leader is finding great people. right? Hiring great people. And so early on, I looked for amazing people. In particular, my COO ran the business while I was out doing the other things that I was supposed to do, like fundraising, for example. So it's a full-on contact sport, raising money. You need to be focused. You need to put the time in, and it's your job as a leader of the business. So hire early, great people who can run your business while you're off raising money.
Thank you.
One last question.
Thanks. That was a great bunch of information. As someone who just recently sold his own company to actually Beanfield, rah! Did you put any premium on choosing Canadian investors versus anybody else in the global landscape, or perhaps the reverse?
Yeah, so we didn't really find a difference between the kind of quality of investor between, say, the US or Canada. So like there's great Canadian firms out there. You know, I think we're pretty patriotic here, and you know, we did want to find a Canadian partner if it was the right fit and it was the right valuation and they brought the right elements to the table. So, you know, we're not going to sacrifice the business outcomes to try to shop Canadian, but we're going to definitely look to find at least equivalency here. And so we actually, you know, had a great partner, Georgian partners, who we brought to the table, who checked all the boxes, and you know, they're an international firm, but they're right here in Toronto. So they're here. You know, you don't have to necessarily look somewhere else to find great investors. They are here. There's just not as many of them, right? So be discoverable, and you know, build relationships with VCs early. I think I knew Georgian partners 10 years ago before I even you know, ended up doing business with them. So.
Thank you so much.